Top of the Tuesday morning, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to The Dose. Jereme Kleven here. The Magic Man, Mr. Mark Hutchins, and the beast behind the glass, Byron Filson. The regulars in the house, joined back in the studio with a special guest. This is just rocket fuel.
Boom, boom.
Mark's beating the drum over here. The energy's off the charts. I like it. Mr. John Cheplak back in the house.
Yeah.
Keeping you in town for one more day, missing flights. This is how we do it.
Well, I mean, you haven't gotten the text yet that says, can we leverage that corporate code and maybe I'll just move in?
There you go.
Pretty solid spot, isn't it?
There you go.
You guys happen to, I don't know how I check it. Mr. Cheplak, you're going to have to wait a little while because your room has been upgraded. Oh, really?
You know, I told you we only know one speed. We want to take care of you. We appreciate you. You know, and we just like to extort more and more knowledge out of you while you're here. So this is how we do it.
It's very tactical.
And let me share one thing. I know we got to get jumping into this thing. So, you know, naturally we've talked about, I work with many of your agents, and I was chatting with one of your agents that I coach and came out and visited. I said, well, you know, I'm sitting here with my luggage because I'm stalled a little bit because I think that someone made a tricky call and said, move Mr. Cheplak into like the nicest place on the property. And your agent says, oh yeah, that's the only way they know. Go big or go home. And then or they only know one speed. And then I text you later that night and I said, dude, did you have anything to do with a phone call into the property? We only know one speed, John.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you,
I
man.
love that.
Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you.
So, guys, if you any team leaders out there need to go back and listen to the last couple of days of this, if you haven't listened to it already, talking teams Friday, Monday, yesterday. Today, let's shift gears a little bit.
Sure.
Some of this you delivered last week at the Be Relevant event, but I want to dive in for the folks that weren't there at that event. Let's talk about, let's get back on this social media train. Let's get back on this Facebook train, because I know you do a ton of research. You're always tracking numbers. You know, you're big on just that tracking things. So we were talking offline, the Facebook ninja over here. So I'm just going to leave it at that.
Sure. Let's go into it. I'm continuing to expand because I have a responsibility to expand. I'm with my coach, and a trainer and someone I've followed for the last 2 years, Frank Kerr, next Friday and Saturday, so that I can continue to enhance my competency, my knowledge of what's taking place, and bring that back to all the people that I get the privilege to share with. But in addition, I have a coach that's in the Facebook space that's monitoring, everything. Not only monitoring, he's in the game. And here's the bottom line: is this and. This was not part of the coaching, but I'm studying it hours upon hours on a weekly basis. And you look at our friend Mr. Zuckerberg, who did his little State of the Union. Basically, it was a State of the Union. It wasn't a keynote from the CEO of a company. He's building an ecosystem.
Oh, yeah.
Here's what's going on is the business is here. Facebook's here, and I'm not using it to intimidate people. I'm here to let you know. It's here to keep you in the business, but if you don't engage, it's going to push you out of the business. Let me share with you why. Because you need to keep picking up the phone, and you need to do FISBOs, and you need to do expires, but you need to start targeting like ever before. And so, the question that I asked your agents at the very end, and I left them sitting with this biggie right here. How many of you have your entire email address, your sphere of influence and leads uploaded into the power editor of Facebook and use it as a custom audience? But before you launch an ad set out that has individual ads, you then go and you search for people that like your competitor's business page. And now you have another target audience. Yes, I said it, and I'm sharing it with you, and you may not like it. You may sit on one side and say, oh my gosh, this is an opportunity. And many will say, well, that's not right. People are going to go after my clients. But here's the bottom line. You have the ability to go in the Facebook search and look for people that like your competitor's business page. So now what I've got is I'm uploading my emails from my database, from my sphere of influence, my leads into the power editor. I am then going to, if I want to, you don't have to because there's plenty of other places. I can then go to the competitors, people who like my competitor's business page. That's another target audience, custom audience. Okay. And then hopefully, this is 2016, hopefully you have your Facebook pixels set into your website pages, just as I hope you do Google Analytics, because now you're creating an invisible list, an invisible target audience, custom audience, because here we are in the, right now what you guys are doing, most of you are doing, is you're boosting a post, and all you're doing is enhancing the post, and maybe you can use it for a like campaign. But then you go into the ads manager, and then you've got the power editor, which are different spaces that do different things.
Two different things.
Totally different things. And so you can only put so much content in the ads managers, but you start getting in the power editor, the content that you can create and do with it. But watch this. So here I am. Instead of just boosting a post, now what I can do is I can go into the power editor and I start picking custom audiences. Let's see. Custom audience number one, we're going to choose my database. Okay. The people that are in there. Facebook is going to match those people to the correlating Facebook account. Gosh, wouldn't it make sense that my next market update video goes directly to my sphere of influence through Facebook, through their feed? Boom. Oh, and by the way, it's going to also go to people that like in the feed of people that like my competitor's business page. And then, by the way, it's going to go to, because of my Facebook pixel that I put on my website, the other custom audience is I'm going to send it to the people that have visited my website. But you know what I'm going to do on top of each one of those is I'm going to do an overlay, and I'm going to do a look-alike campaign, because today Facebook has 2,000 data points on you and me and everyone in the world. Data points, what do I mean? Behaviors, characteristics, and choices. Ladies and gentlemen, 2,000 data points on you. What credit card you use. And by the way, yes, and when. And guess what else they're doing? They're not just using it based on how you behave in Facebook. They're spending, I'm going to say, I thought it was billions. I don't want to use a big number or words to sound good, but here's what I know. They're spending millions outside of the online world to offline companies that certainly use online tools to get this, to gather even further data. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, using the power editor, targeting people, and then doing a look-alike campaign. What do I mean by look-alike? People whose interest and characteristics and behaviors map to your sphere of influence in your database. Are you with me, ladies and gentlemen? I hope you are.
And this doesn't come up as a sponsored ad either. When you're hearing these people that talk about the dark posts, right?
Well, what happens with it is you're going to see stuff come up that's boosted. It's going to show that it's been boosted.
Oh, it is. It does show sponsored.
You're going to see sponsored.
Okay, I thought that was what we were referring to as a dark post. What's that? What's that mean? Then maybe I'm off on that.
No. What we're doing is we're going out, and some of them, depends on what you're driving things to. Okay, sometimes you want to do a like campaign. Okay, just to get likes onto your actual business page. Okay, you want to put in parentheses, this is just a blog or something to that effect, so that people don't think they're being sold. I mean, you've got to look at your cadences too,
right? Of
how many times am I going, lead gen, or am I going to a withdrawal type thing? And so what happens is we put it out that you create the campaign inside the power editor. That's where you want to create the campaign. And so you really use the power editor for the creation, but then going forward, you use the ads manager take a look at that for your measurement, to take a look at any further editing that you want to do. You come back in the power editor too, because it starts dumping in there. You can create these ad sets where you've got your A/B, what's working, what's not working. What you also get to see is what works, as far as mobile is concerned. You start gathering all of this data. You start targeting and drilling down to how people are behaving. What it's going to do is it's going to tell you which audiences work the best, get the best engagement, and which you're going to start taking a look at. Also, the piece to come back to is looking at investment. Now, here's the pieces. What we were told and what we were testing, because certainly I've got someone that's an expert in this stuff.
Right.
it was keep it at 200,000 to $1 million. Now to have an effective campaign, okay, to get the right audience where you're getting a true measurement, you really want to go as you start picking and choosing about 400,000 to 2 million is the number you need to be at.
Interesting.
400,000 to 2 million is the number you need to be at as far as an audience is concerned. So expand so that you get it in front of enough people. The other piece to look at too on your pixeling is taking a look at, now we've got certain people that have come to the site that have actually filled out a lead form, okay? And they're in that space. Well, what you want to do is not have them continue to get hit with something that is a different messaging. You see what I mean? It's like now we can take a look at adaptive marketing versus drip marketing. You don't want to, you're not going to have a communication with someone that just bought a property from you and closed on it. Now they're in your database. The marketing message you're going to use with that person is dramatically different than the person that's 90, 120, 180 days out.
Absolutely.
So it's taking a look at, our invisible lists. It's taking a look at our actual established visible list, which is the email addresses that we upload. And then doing that lookalike audience that says, okay, here are my target people, and now here are the lookalikes that have, from the 2,000 data points we're measuring, are parallel to our people.
I didn't even know about the Power Editor until just a couple days ago when we were hanging out. Getting a session in, and I'm either I'm just behind the eight ball here.
No,
or
you're not.
I think
No, you've
maybe
actually
most
seen it.
people
Remember when we were looking at two different screens, and I had that one up. And we're like, why? You've actually seen it. You've seen the Power Editor.
Oh, okay. That's the one you're working from.
Yeah, it's the same one I'm working from. So we're doing it. It's just not, now we're going to go hard into it.
Well, it's overwhelming. It's a science project.
Oh, it is.
But it's like anything else. I mean, if you
learn it.
Get in.
Yeah, you just got to dive in. You got to dive in. If people are like, you're going to go out and spend all this money on a CRM or this or that, and you have to spend all this time or this next tool or resource, this is something that people just need to take the time. It's there. It's free. Yeah. I mean, obviously, it's not free if you start to boost some of these posts and getting in more involved in this. But it is way underused. No two ways about it.
Facebook Ninja, man.
Well, and here's the key piece that I want to go back to is it all starts, you guys, in content.
Right.
If you don't capture the fact, we're talking about your second job as being a technologist. That's what the Power Editor, you've got to be a technologist. But if you don't do your third job, because your number one job is a real estate agent, your number two job is a technologist. If you're not creating content, you're dead, because your competition is creating content.
Yep.
And here's what the objective is. You can create content, use the Power Editor, you can target, you can measure every single little behavior, and all you're trying to do every day is enhance the experience of the consumer. And the person that enhances the experience of the consumer becomes the number one salesperson.
Yes, sir.
Awesome, man. You're always blowing our mind.
Content.
Mic drop.
Sure. Well, and one other thing I want to share with you guys quickly, too, because we talked about, again, with your people here at the Be Relevant event, but also in the session before, I want to share with you an example. I have an agent that I work with that does created the video, the market data, pushed it to Google+, pushes the 15-second to Instagram, tweets it out, puts it on her Facebook, puts it on her blog, and emails to her people. And she was just doing boosts without the Power Editor. $50 boosts. In the last 75 days, she's not a team. She's done $118,000 in revenue.
Wow.
Nice.
That's kind of good.
By creating content. And she's not a team. So
love it.
We're going to have to do it to be continued on this, because this is just going to blow our minds. We'll have to come back and touch on the subject again.
Well, we are. I'm going to bring back some case studies for you guys.
Yes.
We're in the middle of some epic case studies that are showing some crazy things.
I love it, man.
Love it.
Honored as always to have you, man. You're just a killer. I mean, I always wish we could go much longer and take all the time in the world, but my goodness, man, I'm honored to have you. Thanks for doing everything you did this week. I'm looking forward to have you back again for round 5.
Absolutely.
Can't wait. Party, guys.
Party.
Sir, thank you very much. Honored to run alongside you. Keep doing your thing.
Awesome. Thanks,
right,
guys.
Sir.
See you
Thank
guys.
you.